Hey guys, so we're taking a little break from the Omamori videos today, and I want to share my experiences at several Japanese hardcore and pop punk shows that I went to while I was in Japan. They're generally the same, like kind of shows that we're used to here in America and I guess in Western Europe, but the differences really make a difference. So my first experience with, the Japanese hardcore scene or Japanese punk scene was actually, it's a kind of a weird story. So in February we were celebrating my friend Kate's birthday at the Osaka Aquarium. So we were walking around the Kaiyukan, the aquarium, and I see this kid in a hardcore shirt. I don't remember the band, but I was like, oh, that kid. That kid seems interesting. Like, I wish I could talk to him because my Japanese wasn't that good at all at that point. And so at the end, I see him in the bookstore, no, the gift shop in the aquarium, and so I hear him like talk about my clothing. Like I had a jean vest on, like a cut off jean vest with a couple bands patches, and on the back it says like New York Straight Edge, like a sort of like a biker gang label, biker club label, but so I hear him talk about my vest, and like so I sort of go closer to him, and he says, oh, in broken English, oh, Haro, I like your vest. And I said, oh, thank you. And I start talking to him a little bit in Japanese, and he explains that he plays in a hardcore band in Nagoya. So my first guess was Shark Ethic, because I had listened to them a little before coming to Japan, and I knew that they were from Nagoya. So I asked him if he played in Shark Ethic, and he was like, yeah, you know my band? I play guitar, and my name is Teru. I said, yes, like, I love your band, and I listened to them before, and he was like very, very shocked that this kid from New York on study abroad even heard of his band. So that was pretty cool. And through his girlfriend, who spoke a little bit more English, he explained that he was going to be back in Osaka in May. And I said, oh, cool, like, hope we hang out. And so that was it. So about a week later, after meeting Teru, I saw that my friend Waki, who runs a record label called Romantic Nobita Records in Tokyo, put a picture on Instagram of Shinsaibashi, which is sort of like the Times Square of Osaka, I want to say. So I was like, hey, you're in Osaka, I live here. Let's hang out. And he's like, oh, I'm running a show tomorrow, come out, like, I'll put you on the guest list. So, I got excited and I went to the show. First time asking directions in Japan and actually understanding how to get there, which was cool. I asked like the lady handing out the little tissues on the corner, and she pulled out her phone and she put in the address, and it was like right around the corner. But she explained it to me and I understood, and that was cool. And so I was on the guest list, I walked in, I met Waki, who is also straight edge. He was like the first straight edge Japanese kid I've ever met, and we just sort of talked about straight edge and punk and hardcore and stuff like that, and that was awesome. And I sort of came like 40 minutes late because I was doing something during the day that day. So I walked in and this band called All From Bright Lights was playing. They're sort of like an easycore band. They're like pop punk with some screams and like a couple breakdowns and stuff. So they were cool. But so I started dancing and moshing, but I didn't know the etiquette in Japan, and I guess when they mosh, they don't move, they stay in the same place. So I was like moving all around, and unfortunately, the kid behind me didn't move, and I like swung my fist like this, and I clocked him right in the face, like super hard, and I felt awful because I was there for like 5 minutes and I already hurt someone. I was the only foreigner in the room, so it was obviously me. I was like, oh my god, what did I do? But the kid was super cool. I apologized profusely, and he was just like, daijoubu, like, I'm okay. It's okay. And I just felt super bad. But anyway, the show went on. Then the rest of the night was sort of weird. It was like all-time lowy, sort of poppy, pop punk, and like electro pop bands, and it was okay. It just wasn't really my thing, but hanging out with Waki and listening to All Found Bright Lights and meeting them was super cool. I met some other kids that I saw at later shows, so that was awesome. And then I went to see Such Gold and Living with Lions play in Osaka in March. And the show was put on by a record label called Ice Grills, which is run by a guy named Mizuki Ishii. And Ice Grills is a super cool label. They put out a lot of American pop punk bands records in Japan. Such Gold, Living with Lions, Fireworks, Major League, The Story So Far. Ishii-san does a whole bunch of stuff, and he's super busy, and it looks like he's super busy, but it's super cool, and he always brings bands over to Japan. So this time it was Such Gold and Living with Lions, and a band called After Tonight, which is my favorite Japanese Japanese pop punk band. And I was looking forward to seeing them in Japan for like 2 years prior to going to the show, and I had gotten contact with the singer for After Tonight. His name is Ken, and I was like, hey, I'm going to the show, I want to meet you. And he was super awesome, and was like, I want to meet you too, like, I'm so excited that you're coming. So I go to this show. Again, I'm the only foreigner in the room, big white dude, in an H2O shirt, and this kid walks up to me, he's like, hey, I like your shirt, and in pretty good English. And I said, oh, thank you, and we start talking in Japanese and English, and he said that he actually got kicked out of the school I was studying abroad at Kansai Gaidai. He didn't explain why, but I was like, oh, you know, everyone's different and everyone lives their own path. He's like, yeah, I work a part-time job and I play, and the band that's playing next, we're called Number 9, we're a hardcore band. I was like, that's awesome, I want to hear you guys, I'm super excited. He's like, yes, and my singer is straight edge. And I was like, oh, I'm straight edge too. So he got more excited, and I met the singer before, and we were like, oh, I'm straight edge, and he was like, oh, straight edge, and he like went like this, and we bumped fist and did a whole bunch of like hardcore things, like, because we couldn't really have a conversation because my Japanese was still really poor at that time, so we were just doing hand signs and thumbs up and X's and stuff, and it was cool. And their band, that band was really good. They sort of sound like Down to Nothing, and they actually did a Down to Nothing cover, which like I lost my mind at, and I sang along, and they were super stoked that I knew the words, and yeah. And so Such Gold, Living with Lions came on, and then Such Gold, and then at first, after Number 9, there was another band. Then After Tonight came on, and I just lost it. I wanted to see that band forever, like I said, and Ken was just smiling the whole time at me because I knew all the words, and I guess that was super cool to him that, you know, an American knew the words to his songs. And it was a really fun time. And then Living with Lions came on, and they were really good. I only listened to their earlier stuff. I hadn't listened to Holy Shit, so I didn't really know the words. They played a lot of new songs, and then Such Gold came on, and everyone went nuts for them, and that was awesome. It was good to see a New York band do well there. And I met the kid who was standing next to me, happened to be wearing a Title Fight shirt. I was like, oh, nice shirt, like, and so we started talking, and he actually went to Kyoto Gaidai, Kyoto School of Foreign Languages, and he explained to me that, you know, he got a job for next year, and this was sort of his final run at being young. That's another story for another video. Japan has this thing, when you join a company, you're devoted to that company, you work all the time, and you know, I don't necessarily agree with that system, but that's another video. So it was kind of sad to see this kid like just think like this is his last time having fun. He went to the Tokyo shows and he was doing Osaka and stuff like that. So I just hung out with him for the rest of Such Gold, and we were just singing along. Then I hung out with the guitarist from Living with Lions, and he was explaining that like he loved Japan and definitely wanted to come back. And we just shared experiences and had a good time.